Hey guys, Letter Magic here, and I'm a little overdue for making this, but, well, I've been traveling, I've been busy, and my gosh, did the weather that sweep through Wisconsin cause some damage. But let's focus on the lore for now, because in 24 hours it's only gonna get worse. Although personally, I've lived here my whole life, and I've never seen 5 inches of standing water flooding everywhere freeze. That's a new one. The damage right now is barely into the triple digits. Whatever. It's an absolute kick in the balls while I'm already down. But hopefully this stupid job comes through that I've been trying to get. I already have the job. It's complicated. Time to dive into the lore that we know so far from the live stream that nobody watched about the 5 crime families. We actually know the heads, we know the descriptions, and we know the colors. So, okay. So let's start with everybody's favorite, Obscura, the black-white-blue nightmare that ruins every game that color combination touches. It is just a control-a-thon shit show that just nobody has fun, and the person playing it is usually a net decker who just doesn't care, or an asshole. So the description given on the live stream is that the Obscura are talented wizards and mystics who use their power to deceive and blackmail, using distractions, illusions, and hidden mechanisms to orchestrate scenarios and manipulate outcomes. All to their benefit, of course. Sounds like the Democrats. They endeavor to maintain a facade of normalcy in their everyday life to allow them to run their schemes without disruption. And their leader is a sphinx that's ugly as hell and looks 1 trillion years old. So now I am 100% sure it's based on the Democrats. So sounds great. Spoiler alert, all 5 families are awful. There are nothing but villains and there's no good guys. That basically almost never works in literature or cinema. I don't know what the out-of-touch morons were thinking at Wizards. So next up, we've got the Maestros, which is blue, black, red. They are the elite assassins of New Capenna. Oh, you're not that elite if you don't splash white. Just saying, if you're going best creatures, yeah. Best combat capabilities, first strike, flying, lifelink, come on. Double strike, that's all white. Okay, you're all second rate. Ooh, haste and death touch. Why did you splash blue then? Oh, I kinda get it. It's like, oh, rogues and illusions and, I don't know. Well, anyway, they're vampires. They're old money vampires who love the finer things in life and are willing to kill to get them. Are these just all based on the Democrats? What the hell? They should have called this Streets of New Capitol Hill instead of New Capenna. So of course they maintain a front of an upstanding public organization of art aficionados, because that's not totally sus. They're probably slinging NFTs. And their goal is to preserve the art and culture of old Capenna. Oh, that's probably before the demons took over, when the angels ran it. So beneath that polished veneer, they are a shadowy organization of elite assassins focused on maintaining power, influence, and wealth. So in other words, unbearable California douchebags. Also, the totally diverse, equality, and not bigoted at all Wizards of the Coast clearly based this on like a hybrid of French and Italian. But guys, you know the rules, and so do I. They're all just white, so who gives a shit? You can shit on their culture, their history, and make stereotypes about them and all that. Doesn't matter, because they're white. I don't make the rules. I just make fun of them. So then we've got the Riveters. White, black, green, or as I like to call it, why aren't you just running mono green? And my god, if you're gonna run black green for the control, why the hell did you splash red? So that's the Riveters. Oh, the Maestros, by the way, their leader looks like some, I don't know, demon vampire devil douche. He's the guy driving the car. And in some already released artwork, it appears that, what's his name? Obnixilis kills him. So, spoiler alert. Either that or he's secretly in charge of all 5, but it sounds like that's impossible. So the Riveters are destruction workers. Whoever wrote that, come on. They are tough as nails, artisans who can break buildings as easy as kneecaps. How often could that possibly come up? They're a rowdy brute force crime faction whose skills in industry and constructions also make them pros in demolition and intimidation. Oh, so they're the muscle. Okay. But as skilled artisans, they transform the lower levels of the city into a lair worthy of their draconic leader, and they are led by a dragon. So they blow crap up above ground, intimidate people, and then build something below ground. Now that's about as stupid as running that color combination. Next up, the Cabaretti. They're just Italians. Oh, I read that wrong. They're party monsters. And I kid you not, they're red, green, white. Let's see, what country has a flag that color? And they're called the Cabaretti with 2 T's? Oh yes, they must be either Hungarian or Bulgarian. Oh, and the leader is an obese, stuck-up, opulent, hedonistic pile of crap. So obviously Wizards didn't, insensitively base it on the Italians or any stereotypes thereof. I mean, just because their flag, you know what, it's them. All right, anyway, the Cabaretti are party monsters. They are a fun-loving cult of druids. Didn't see that coming. That throw the hottest parties in town. This is so cringe. So everybody wants to be invited to their feasts and dance halls. They use ancient magic to sway opinion of the masses. The party never ends if you keep paying, but the moment you stop, you may find it hard to leave. Yeah, them unlimited breadsticks that they used to do and don't anymore at Fazoli's do be flowing. And I'll be honest with you, I think they got rid of it because I'm not leaving till the oven breaks, okay? Keep them sticks coming. And finally, we've got the brokers. Oh gosh, they're demonic lawyers, and they run a demonic law firm. Oh, so obviously that's based off of every law firm. But there's a twist. This is going to some weird places with the last two. Oh, by the way, this one's green, white, blue. In other words, whatever enchantments are in this, people will just play them. It's also generally the strongest overall if you don't count black, white, blue, because... So in other words, it's the strongest one that runs you over a wall, allowing you to still play the game because it doesn't care. And that goes double where for like 5 sets in a row, they made green-white the best combination. So they think that when the halo dries up, New Capenna will fail. So I don't know what halo is. It's probably... I always imagine this being a floating city. It's probably what's like keeping it up or something like that. Or it's like a giant fusion battery. That'd be kind of cool. Or like a fusion reactor, I should say. What the hell's a fusion battery? It's the arc reactor that runs the whole city, and they're probably running out. And that means there's probably going to be a mechanic called Halo. I bet it's just going to be Energy 2.0. I bet they let Mark Rosewater anywhere near the set. If they did, it's going to be, guys, I know everybody hated Energy, but this time we're going to have like one card that costs 8 and it's only in one color that interacts with it. So it's not interactable. I fixed it, you guys, just like I brought back Infect and it was fine. I put it on one card and everybody hated that fucking card. So anyway, these doomsday demon lawyers, they maintain a public law office, or multiple actually, where they handle mundane legal matters. Because that's a thing. Like property disputes and physical grievances. But their aggressive solicitors, aka ambulance chasers, have a dubious reputation for being everywhere and showing up at every crisis in the city. Well, they've clearly come up with a whole bunch of original ideas and not just ripped off a bunch of dumb cliche stereotype amalgams from Hollywood. At least it's not from someone's actual religion or history, like, Norway or Japan this time. Look, I don't care. I'm just throwing SJW bullshit back in their face because I think it's funny. They could literally have a walking caricature of an Italian person and name him which I probably have to bleep, and I'd be like, edgy, but who actually gives a shit? So that's what we know about the houses. They all sound awful, and honestly, I guess not all of them are evil. Only like 4 of them, 4.5 of them are. I breezed through my notes. It's all of them. They're all terrible. All corrupt and awful. It's based off of New York. New York was a shit pile in the 1920s. It was an absolute shit-tacular in the 1950s. And it's back to being a absolute unlivable hell in 2020. As of 2020, I should say. Thanks. Who is it? Cuomo? One of those douches. I don't know. If you still live there, you're a moron and you need to leave immediately for about 37 different reasons I won't even get into. So the set sounds awful. Everybody hates New York. Anybody who visits there hates it. Half the people who live there hate it. And the rest are rich and barely even live there. They live above there. This looks like the most ill-conceived idea for a plane and lore that I've ever seen. I guess just one person was like, this sounds neat, let's do this. And everybody's like, well, we're out of ideas. We're going to rip off the Hindu religion and do a fake Hindu set now? Or like, come on. If they would take their balls out of their wife's purse, they'd do a Scientology set. Now we're talking. That would be spicy. I'd even read the damn lore. This time around, I don't know. I might try and get a Spark Notes version, which is ironic because that's usually what I do. And I gotta say, not into noir at all. Way more into fantasy. I'm more into sci-fi. I'm more into basically everything than noir and any kind of mystery. The closest I get is a good murder mystery, especially in an RPG game. Those are kind of classic. But that's more like a logical unwind the mystery thing, not like, criminals and detective on the street, I've just never been into that. I've seen it done right and done well, but it's like, I just am generally not into that. And that's kind of the sentiment I'm hearing from everyone, unfortunately. So this is what happens when just one person has an idea and they go with it. I'm telling you, it's got to be, because if they did any amount of market research, they'd notice that only a certain percentage of people are into this, you know? And then they wouldn't have freaking done it. Plus, 3 color sets have never come into standard in the 8+ years I've been playing, closer to 9, without just basically being a wrecking ball that just ruins everything. To reiterate, the number one problem is a Swiss Army deck, where, especially at F&M, especially in paper, especially best of 3, you get the, well, if I don't win the first game, my deck is already 3 colors, so it does absolutely everything, has no blind spots, full redundancies, and no weak points. But if somebody does beat me, I'm just going to sideboard my way out of it, because I can go get counterspells, bounce, removal, board wipes, ramp, life gain. You could just get anything out of your graveyard at this point, especially since Wizard seems to have trouble coloring within the lines of their coloring book called the Color Pie. We've had some things leaking into some other things, like way too much card draw in green, and well, where does that leave us? But the funny thing is, it's still going to get absolutely wrecked by like turn 4/5 Red Goblin Rush, because it just takes too damn long, too many turns or too many turns behind, especially if you go second, to run 3+ colors in standard. It just, and the color fixing right now is not, it's not good. Triomes aren't going to do shit. It's the only way to make it kind of proper is to go hyper control on all of them, and that just ruins it twice as badly. And looking at the 3-cost power card that we've already seen, the only card that we've seen so far, actually, that is an actual spell, I should say. Yeah, they're hitting the gas pretty early here. This is not a slow build-up, I got to 3, now the game can begin thing. I think they want to push out Red Rush, which they should just stop printing Red Rush. There you go. Have Red do more interesting things. So generally, the outlook on this looks really bad. I haven't seen anybody saying anything like, oh, I'm so excited, which I saw nothing but that. And the opposite, but still, you know, whatever. At least there was an impact from Space Japan that we just came from. People were like, oh, I'm into this. This is going to be so cool. Ooh, Cyberpunk. Or they're like, I'm super not. But at least people had an opinion. People were just like, okay, so this is happening. Like, none of us were alive in the 1920s. There hasn't been anything major except, I guess, maybe the Alienist. Like, that's literally the only series that kind of sort of took off on streaming. And I think it was like 4 years ago. And it wasn't no Breaking Bad, you know? Like, look at everything that's happened so far for pop culture in the last, like, 5 years. Even 10 years, it hasn't been noirs, with very few exceptions. So I think really nobody's excited about this. That's kind of a shame. Also, there's been a product description leak, I should say, by one of their APIs or a code, or I don't even know where it's from, but if it's legit, it looks like they're going to have punch-out counter cards. So we're going to need some kind of counter. My guess is it's probably halos, and they probably work like energy. Or it could be like the second half of modified creatures, where they'll be considered modified if they have a halo. But you would have had to have written that in the description. So halos might be like the first aura or equipment token. That would actually be kind of cool. I don't know, something as wide open as modified, I feel like it already has the max amount of support, and it's not waiting for that because, like, the game just has support for it. Kind of like Devotion. You don't need to support Devotion. You just need to print things that are colors. But, I don't know. Yeah, this is, it's definitely interesting. Can't wait to report on the absolute train wreck that'll probably be the spoiler season, so subscribe for that, and I'll see you guys next video.